Before machines could imitate beauty, it had to be carved by hand. And today, that beauty is one that captured the hearts and filled the homes of Western Europe for over 200 years. The Black Forest Twisted Barley Chair. With designs originating in the 17th century, these pieces experienced a resurgence in popularity in the Victorian era, often purchased as souvenirs by the wealthy on trips to Switzerland and Germany. They were coveted for their construction as well as their symbol of status that came with a substantial price tag. A set of 4, often fetching 10% or more of what most working-class families made in an entire calendar year. Harp Gallery Restoration's master craftsmen will begin work on a set of 8 of these magnificent pieces. They will repair and strengthen the loose joints, replace the broken and brittle caning on the seat backs, build, upholster, and add board seats, and seal the chairs in a new coat of stain, bringing the hand-carved oak back to its original luster, color, and beauty.
6 of these chairs were in fairly good condition, just all the joints were loose. I'll save any of the caning that's good, although we're gonna put board seats on the side chairs. 2 armchairs, we're gonna leave the caning on, that's all good. This one's just in the process of getting glued back on. On this one, this is bad, so I'll cut all this out, and then there's a spline that goes in there, glued in that little channel. You can see on these that I've cleaned out that channel and got rid of all the old caning.
Once the chairs have all been assessed, Mike, one of Harp Gallery's master woodworkers, begins disassembling each chair to strengthen the century-old joints and replace the damaged caning.
First thing I'm going to be doing is removing this old cane that needs to get replaced. This cane's in pretty good shape, so I'll just leave that, and we're going to cover it up with a board seat. I made a seat that will fit on all the chairs.
Caning became popular in Black Forest furniture, primarily because it offered a lightweight, durable, and breathable alternative to heavy, solid wood seating, complementing the intricate, rustic, and often dark carved wood frames, especially during the 19th century boom of the Black Forest wood carving industry. With the old cane removed, Mike will take each chair apart and re-glue and reinforce any loose or weak joints.
First thing on this that comes off is the seat. It is just glued on.
However, not all pieces will be completely broken down. As with all Harp Gallery restorations, preserving the original integrity of an item is paramount. To put it colloquially, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
This one seems pretty tight.
After careful inspection of each exposed joint, Mike will begin gluing and clamping the pieces back together, extending the life of these chairs for another 100 years. Once reassembled, Mike adds clamps to the chairs, holding the joints together while the new glue dries and sets.
If there's stress on the joint, I'll leave it on there until the glue dries, but if there isn't any stress, I can take them off right away. If they start to spring apart, I'd put the clamp back on it and leave until it was dry. But as long as they stay together, that's where they'll stay. And that one's done.
Once the glue is dry, Mike can begin installing the new caning for the chair backs.
We've got sheets of this caning in different sizes. We'll just cut this, we'll put that over the hole, tap this caning with glue into the channel, and that's what holds it in. And as it dries, it'll tighten up. I'll soak this in water, like half an hour.
Okay, so it'll soak and then...
It'll soak and get more pliable. And then we'll put a new piece of cane down with some glue, and then I'll hammer this into it.
With the wedges holding the cane in place, Mike applies more glue and begins laying the new spline. Now that the new cane is installed, Mike will trim the excess before sending them along to be sanded and scuffed in preparation for the staining booth. The purpose of this step is to remove any impurities and discoloration in the finish, smooth out superficial nicks and mars, and create a surface that allows the stain to properly adhere to the raw wood grain. If this step were skipped, the stain applied in the spray booth would run off, pool, and produce a blotchy, uneven finish. Inside the staining booth, the chairs will receive several coats of Harp Gallery's own English mix, which will be hand-dried and lightly sanded in between. After that's complete, each chair will receive its final clear coat, which will seal and protect the wood and give the new rich color a beautiful varnish and sheen. A job of this size will usually take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours to complete. Once finished, the chairs will be set aside to fully dry overnight before being moved to upholstery, where they will be fitted with custom-made leather board seats to fully complete the chair's restoration. Mark, head of Harp Gallery Restoration's upholstery department, will begin the process of building new board seats by cutting special foam made to the exact dimensions of the wooden form Mike machined a few weeks earlier. The foam Mark is using is a high-resilient medium-density foam that is used often in high-quality furniture. It's referred to as 31-33 foam. 31 refers to its density, typically measured in kilograms per cubic meter. And 33 is in reference to its indentation force deflection, or IFD, otherwise known as a firmness rating. Once cut to size and adhered to the board, Mark will begin to hand-shape the foam by wrapping it in a layer of unbleached muslin fabric. Once the muslin is secured, Mark trims off the excess and, depending on the shape, adds a few final anchors. Next, Mark will apply several layers of a material called Dacron, a hypoallergenic synthetic polyester batting that goes in between fabric and foam, preventing friction resulting in premature wear. It also masks any imperfections and helps seat cushions maintain their shape by preventing wrinkles and sagging from daily use. And lastly, it resists mold, mildew, and rot, greatly extending the life of the materials within the cushions. And now, with the base layers complete, Mark begins cutting the leather that will serve as the chair's new upholstery, completing a makeover 120 years in the making. Once the leather has been stretched and anchored, Mark will steam the edges while folding the hide in a specific pattern to reduce wrinkles and bunching due to the abnormal corners of the board seat. Harp Gallery Restorations sources its materials from all over the United States. The leather Mark is using for these chairs is from a small business in Texas that reduces product waste by selling its premium hide overstock to other companies. With the leather secured, Mark will now apply a layer of black cambric to the underside of the board to protect the exposed wood and hide any uneven edges of fabric or leather, a standard practice in all high-end upholstery. With all the fabrication complete, Mark begins the final step, clearing the frame of residual caning and drilling anchoring holes to mount the newly upholstered board seats.